There we go. I think we're good. How about now? Come on now. See, that's what you got to hear right at the beginning. Welcome to the show. I think it should be working now. I'm testing running Talk Studio Labs on a different computer or a different browser. So let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Come on, baby. Hold together. Okay. Can you hear me right now? Anything? Yay. All right. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Up with Jaffe. Let me get rid of that super chat thing up at the top. We don't have that goal. That was last night. You guys were very generous last night. But today we're just shooting the shit. Of course, I'll take your money. Of course, I'll take your super chats and memberships and subscriptions and follows and all that. We'd love to have your support here on the channel. But let me get rid of that at the moment and we will get started. By the way, tonight, here, I'll put this up instead. Madhouse is tonight, Thursday and Friday at 6:30 this evening. Me, Miss Bunny Button, Tech Protect. Bunny may be swinging by. Tech's supposed to be here today. We're supposed to have Scorpio on today, so we might have some guests joining me. If you want to call in and be part of today's show, talking about our various topics, I will put that link for you. Let's see. I will put it at the top. I'll put it right now in the chat. And if you're on Twitter or Twitch, just ask me for it. But if you want it on YouTube where I can pin it right now, I will pin it right at this moment. Here it comes. You know, I never played ActRaiser. I know I saw it on the SNES. I think it was like, maybe I played a little bit of it. I think it was like the shooter, and then it went to like a semi light building thing, like city builder kind of. That's what that was, right? I think. Okay, we're going to be talking about the morning shows are just kind of all over the place in terms of topics. We will get to the LA protests / riots, Trump's response to them. We will be talking about this new game coming from the company that my former producer, former co-founder of Sony Santa Monica, and one of my favorite people on the planet, Shannon Studstill, is one of the producers on WILDGATE. We played it last night. I'll give you my thoughts. I have questions for you guys. We'll talk about maybe a very weird satanic connection that Taylor Swift has. What? You know, just shoot the shit, hang out a little bit for about 90 minutes, 2 hours, and then we'll part ways as pals, and I'll see you again hopefully tonight over on Madhouse. But for now, let us begin. The thing that I've got my eye on right now the most is this game, and this is I have not looked at reviews yet because the reviews are actually now just starting to trickle out, and so we will be looking at them together at the same time. I has so many red flags that it's probably going to be a dog, but there's something about the trailers that entices me, that makes me curious. So I want to see how it's been received. The embargo just lifted at 10 a.m. The game is now officially available. It's Mind's Eye from one of the producers of the Grand Theft Auto series. Let's just click it. Let's refresh and see. Okay, well, we still got nothing. Let's go to NeoGAF and see if anybody's posted some reviews. Here we go. Mind's Eye, original topic. Give me something, baby. Give me something. Did I pick up the Switch too? No. It went up 80 minutes ago. Did the price just increase? Wait, what? The price went up. Oh, it's been up. No, it went up to $80. It was $60 last night. And now they just raised the price to $80. That can't be true. Hang on. Steam Mind's Eye. Because last night when I looked at it and I almost bought it, yeah, it was $60. I think these people are fucking lying. They have to be lying. Yeah, it's still. Oh, the deluxe edition is 80. Okay, fuck you. But see, it looks good. It looks like a fun action movie. But trailers are deceiving. Obviously, I'm not sitting around thinking it's going to be great. It probably isn't. Did I see the new scene released for Twisted Metal? I did. We watched it on the stream last night. The Twisted Metal season 2 trailer. It was amazing. It was, and I haven't been in touch with any of these guys on season 2 at all. Season 1, I was, they called me every now and then, give me heads up. Nothing to do with season 2. So the whole thing came as a total surprise to me. And man, I thought it looked amazing. I thought it looked absolutely staggeringly cool and very loyal to the brand. And once again, these guys really get it. They had the Rob Zombie song in it. Yeah, Mike Tobin says they did the Our Baby Justice. I think so. They certainly did in the first season, and it looks like in the second season they'll be doing more of the same. So I am very excited to watch it. I am looking forward to it. Let's talk Taylor Swift real quick. I never noticed this before. I am a Swiftie. I'm a proud Swiftie. I'm a fan. I've seen her in concert. I have most of her. Not that I have to buy albums anymore, but I've certainly listened to a lot of her albums a lot. Somebody posted this. There's something peculiar about Taylor Swift I can't put my finger on, right? And whatever. People, she has a lot of haters for whatever reason. Whatever, right? But then somebody posted this though and said, to me, the only thing weird about her is I can't get over how much she looks like Satanist Anton LaVey's daughter, Zena LaVey Shrek. And I was like, holy shit. That's kind of fascinating. I'd never heard this before. Yeah, Matthew in the chat gets it. He says Taylor Swift is a genetic clone of one of the leaders of Satan's church. Now, is this true? I don't know. But there she is. Now, she's a much older now. I'm not sure how old. Let's see. She's 61 years old now. But good God, she really does look like Taylor fucking Swift. Now, is she a clone? I don't know. But it's pretty good. It's a pretty good proximity. So, hey, man, look, all I can tell here's the things I missed out on. Okay. If the Jews have all the power, that sucks because I would have stayed Jewish. I stopped being Jewish when I was 7 years old. I said, no, none of this religion's for me. But are you kidding me? You know how big this stream would be if the Jews had all the power in media? Are you kidding me? And if Satanism actually gave you the ability to make deals with the devil, I am, if I'm anything, I'm a Satanist, but I'm a new Satanist, like, the ones that are kind of poking an eye at religion. Not really. I don't believe in Satan, but I would, if you could, seriously, I'm open to Satanism if they can get me a deal to make the stream grow. I'm open to Judaism if they can get me a deal to make the stream grow. But trust me, I've dabbled in both. I had a bar mitzvah. Trust me, I don't think it's real, but I wish it were. I would be the most Satanist, Jewy, successful motherfucker on the internet. You guys would not be able to get rid of me. It would be like, Jesus Christ, Joe Rogan who? It's all Jaffe these days. I know. Where are you, Satan? Where are you? Where are you, pal? Come hang out with me. Let me just give you guys a heads up. We played the demo last night on the stream on Gabbin' and Games. I'll tell you something. I loved this game. This is the demo for the new Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, or I think that's what it's called. And it's coming out in July. It is very, very fun. Now, once you get through the demo, they do open up a hard mode. So a lot of people that are like, oh, I found it too easy. I get that, because the fact that I could even fucking finish the demo tells you it's not, at least at the default level, tuned very difficult. But this motherfucking game, if you want a hard game, just change the difficulty, I suppose. But boy, I love this. This is available right now in Steam Next Fest. Just I want to, shout it from the rooftops. It's really fucking good. Give it a try. Let me know if you agree with me. But I think it's just fantastic. Okay. What else we got going on? We got and then I want to talk before we get to the LA riots. So we played also on the stream last night. We played WILDGATE, which is this game. I'll put it up on the screen while we're talking. It's a really interesting game, and I have questions for you guys on this. It is okay. It's from Rob Pardo's studio in Irvine. He is one of the key founders of Blizzard. I remember meeting him for the first time at the very first Talarico games, the symphony thing, Games Live, whatever it was called. And he was great. And he's like, hey, you want to maybe come work at this company I might be starting? And I was thinking about doing my own stuff. So it never really went anywhere. But anyway, they've had this in development forever. It kind of feels very old school Blizzard, where they're like, look, we're going to just keep making it until it's good, and then we'll release it. Right. And so this weekend or this week, Steam Early Access, this is the first taste people have really gotten of it who weren't in the closed. Hello, Bunny. Bunny, come on in here if you want, unless you got shit to do. Yeah, I know. I'm sure you do have shit to do, but because I want to talk to you about the riots and Trump and get your take. But anyway, so now they've put it out, and I played one round last night with Tech, and I'm very curious if you guys get a chance to play this week. There are a lot of systems. It is really well made. It does the Concord, one of the things I loved about it was it does high adventure and outer space right. It doesn't feel like Concord where it just feels cheeseball. The music is great, the setting is great, the art style is cartoony, but it still feels fun and serious. Like it feels like a cool space adventure. And there's clearly a lot of lore there and stuff. I like this, but it's a lot, and I think it's one of those things that, like, unless you really want to invest 10 games, 20 games and play it with friends, it might kind of get lost, because it's, there's a lot of these games out there. Like it doesn't remind me of Deception Inc. or whatever that was called that came out last year, but it's one of those kind of games where it demands you really start to understand the rules of how it all works together. It's not just like a Fortnite, just be the last guy standing. At the same time, you can tell they did a lot of great work in this game to make even just the basic stuff, if you're not really paying attention to your team, still kind of fun. So I am this, and it's also selling for $30 when it comes out. And I'm confused by this. I don't understand if this is going to be the next big thing or if it's going to be dead on arrival. I get it's $30. That doesn't help because it's primarily multiplayer, if it's not entirely multiplayer. But it's also like, I don't know if you remember, like, Blizzard used to do that. This is Blizzard DNA, the way that these guys made it and didn't release it until it was ready to come out and stuff. They basically, they used to sell StarCraft, and they used to sell all of their games that still went on. World of Warcraft, I think, you had to buy it in the store at first. Oh, good, Bunny. I love it. And then we'll see you tonight, Bunny. We missed you last night. I don't like my 6 o'clocks or 6:30s kicking off without Bunny button. But I'm looking forward to seeing you again tonight. But yeah, I don't know. Play it. Let me know. I want you guys, seriously, if you're gamers and you're watching the show, most of you are, I know, play this. Play Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. Let me know what you think, because I really I think they're both really good, but I'm very curious, is WILDGATE going to go the way of Concord or Deception Inc., or is it kind of the next big fucking thing? I am very, very curious about that. The other thing I played last night, which I recommend 2 things. Leaf Blower Simulator. It's as addictive as you would imagine. If you like these kind of games, you're blowing leaves around and you're putting them in receptacles, but you're also just tidying up in general. All the shit that people like me with ADD hate to do in real life, but it's delightfully engaging. It's a fun game to stream. It's fun to talk to. It's fun to talk to the chat while you're playing, and it's more than just the leaf stuff. You're tumping over furniture, making the things look nicer. It's pretty cool. And then the sequel is to Tormented Souls. The demo is out now, which is what you're seeing here. And this is really fucking great. Bunny says, I missed y'all last night. I was a sad clown. Yeah. I mean, it sucks. I know we were talking games, but if you ever just want to hang out, we'd love to have you any and every time. You know that, Bunny. There's Tech Protect. He should be popping in pretty soon. I don't know if Scorpio's joining us today. But anyway, I'll be playing more games throughout the week for Steam Next Fest. I highly, highly recommend you spending some time over there if you like to game. Yeah, Tech, I'm going to send Tech the guest invite, and then Tech, you already have an invite over here. You don't need me to send you one, do you? But there it is right there. Okay. All right. Oh, there's Scorpicus. Okay, cool. All right. So I want to talk to Scorp and Tech real quick about these games, and then after that, I want to jump into talking about some of the political goofiness going on, because I'm a little, I don't know what to think about what's happening in the world of Trump and LA and all that stuff right now. I have theories, but I'm not sure. Did you see the Superhero Simulator trailer? I think Rob sent it to me, and I may have already watched it. Superhero Simulator trailer. Let's see. Is that currently on Steam for Next Fest or no? Here, we'll put it.
Welcome to Gold Pine City. Every hero has walked away, but the chaos never did. This city's only hope is you. Prove you can handle it.
Well, I think I'm totally in. Are you kidding? I love superheroes. I assume you make your own hero, give them your own powers and shit. Hell, you got all the superheroes. Oh, and you get to play the civilian version too. That's cool.
I'll pay double if you don't speak. What the hell was that? Are you even watching the road?
Can I get a cheeseburger, please?
Oh, that's awesome. Is it the newest trailer? I think it said 2 weeks ago. Okay. Fuck, I'm in. Yeah, Hancock vibes. I like that movie, actually. I only saw it once, but I dug it. Yeah, that's cool, man. I want to see it. All right, so Tech, I just sent you, and I sent you a link. I sent a link for you and for Scorpio, so let me know if you guys get it. Let me see when it's coming out. It's got the alter ego double life. Yeah, that's what's cool, Bold Alpha Wolf. I like that part. When is Superhero Simulator? Let's see. Oh, there is a demo. Fuck it. We'll be playing that tonight, today, whatever. Excellent. Wonderful. All right. Let's talk about, let's go to the main news and see what's going on, and then we'll go from there. I don't really want to get into the LA stuff if Scorpio and Tech are coming in, because I imagine they're, I don't know about Scorpio that much, but I know Tech leans a little bit more rah-rah authority than I do. So I'm curious what their take and what y'all's takes will be. Let's check back and see if this has gotten a review yet. Come on, the embargoes are up. Where's my reviews at? Let's go to Twitter. Maybe Twitter will have something for us. Mind's Eye. Is it Mind's Eye with a apostrophe? It's possessive. Give me something. It's not even out yet. Where's the embargoes, motherfucker? Oh shit! Is that Mind's Eye? Holy shit! All right, hang on. Okay, our latest patch is updated. It's ready. Okay. You can get it now. 10 minutes in, this guy had a crash. I want my reviews, God damn it. But I don't know if that's true or not. If that was from it. You know, people are really the guys who made it, some of the guys said that they think they're alleging that, or they're hinting that Rockstar is sending out like hate for the game. It's okay, says Gene. Fans of Western game cover shooter quippy dialogue writing about capitalism. Wait, no, come on, man. Give me your goddamn review. They did not send out review copies. No, busted. And the other thing that was weird is at the previews, they didn't let anybody go hands-on with it. And it also ended up with like weird, like you had to turn on invulnerability just so they could play through it for the press. Oh, okay. I get it. We're not going to see any reviews because there were no review. It's not that the review embargo lifts. Oh my God. Yeah. It's not that the review embargo lifts. Nobody got early copies. So we're not going to see any reviews today, probably. So now I kind of want to buy the fucking thing. I kind of want to buy it and play it just because I'm very curious. Fuck it. Let me see if it's on G.
Scorpicus joined.
Hello, there he is. What up, Scorpicus? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
What's up, Jeffy?
Not much. I'm trying to let me get rid of this screen real quick. So we can see you better.
Can I hear myself?
You shouldn't. You should be good now.
Check one. Perfect.
What do you think of? What do you think? Should I buy Mind's Eye?
I was looking at it. I kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie.
I know.
And you were talking about whether or not it's going to be a little flopperino or not. Same with other games like.
Not Mind's Eye. I'm talking about that we were talking about. Wildgate.
Wildgate, yeah.
Well,
Mind's Eye has the driving, yeah.
Yeah. Mind's Eye is kind of like it presents as a it presents as a Grand Theft Auto open world, but apparently it's kind of much more linear than that. But no, Wildgate we played last night, and I am a little bit jonesing to get back in and play some more. But let me see if Mind's Eye is on. Because if it's on GeForce, I'm going to pick it up. Otherwise, I might wait. Fuck it. I kind of want to buy it. I'll here we go. I'll let Tech decide. Tech, do I spend the money and lose 2 hours of prep time for Madhouse tonight to play 2 hours of Mindsgate after this stream? Because no one's playing it. I mean, it just came out. I mean, some people will be playing it, of course, but look at Tech's. I'm gonna go play it.
And he's gone. No, I think it looks fantastic. It's pretty as hell, and I love like the more open worldish games with cars in it. Ever since like Need for Speed Carbon.
Yeah. Well, again, I don't know how open world it is. What I have read is that it's actually because this whole thing was put together as part of a it's kind of like Fortnite, the Unreal Engine in Fortnite. It's like you can build your own levels, and that didn't ship with it, right? So what shipped was this that was made in it. So it probably is set in an open world, but it's not. You don't actually have to explore the open world. There's nothing in it. So I don't know how it's going to go. Let me bring Tech back on. There he is. Tech, what do you think? Should I pick up Mind's Eye to play after the stream, even if it cuts into prep for Madhouse, or no? What's he doing?
The camera kills me every time.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by, Tech. What do you think? What do we do on this game?
That'd be good. I'd play it.
All right, I'll pick it up. We'll do that. I already got a bunch of stuff ready for Madhouse tonight anyway. It could be fun, bad, definitely not good. All right, I'll play it about 30 minutes. Where is anyway? All right, so we'll get off this topic. We'll get off games. I want to talk now that you guys are here. I want to talk a little bit about what's happening in LA.
Sure.
So I mean, it's okay. So there's two narratives going on right now in the whole Los Angeles thing, right? There's the narrative of what's up, Tech? What are you doing?
I just noticed there's a chocolate bar on the top of my desk.
Okay, we're
I thought
doing
he
a
was wanting
show.
uppies.
I didn't know
Oh.
it was up there. The camera showed me.
Okay, so the two narratives going around about this are that either if you listen to the people or a lot of the people in LA and Gavin Newsom and the mayor and all this, yeah, there's some unrest. It's not like the LA riots in 92. It's not like January 6th, where the police were being constantly attacked and they were overwhelmed and they wanted the National Guard and Trump didn't call them in. It's like, yeah, we've had protests that have become problematic before, and this is that, and it's not Portland or whatever. And then if you listen to Trump or people on the right, the city is burning. This is awful. We have to send in the Marines. We have to send in the National Guard. And I have seen some videos like everybody else. Like I saw one last night of people rushing into the Apple store, which I'm like, I want to go there. And like, stealing a bunch of shit. I'm like, give me a Vision Pro, God damn it. But and we've seen the cars set on fire. We've seen some people throwing rocks off the interstate onto cop cars and stuff. And of course, all of that's bad, even though I understand a lot of the resentment and anger, but that's certainly not what should be happening in a civilized society. And yeah, that's a problem. But is it was it a problem, like Matthew in the chat says, before Trump escalated things? And more importantly, was it any more of a problem that the LAPD hasn't dealt with before? Whatever you think of the LAPD, and maybe there's no way to really know that, right? Because if you watch the news, depending on what news you watch, depending on what facts you select from the buffet, you're going to have a very different opinion on this, right? I mean, what do you guys think about this?
I think that I watched a Channel 9 news reporter get absolutely calved by a rubber bullet. I think as stuff like that starts to happen, where you have like people in riot gear calving reporters, it starts to look super wonky no matter how you look at it.
But are you want that Australian woman who got shot with a rubber bullet? I mean, there've been a few, but that woman, I mean, I don't think she was a target, right? I think that was just a kind of bullet that flew off and it randomly hit her. Were they targeting her?
It was. I can give you a reenaction of this, Jaffe. The guy standing there, you see him turn, he looks back, he turns again, he looks back, looks at her, aims at her, and then fires.
Okay,
I mean, and you can see it in the video. It was buck wild. And it hits her. I slowed it down frame by frame to see that it hit her in the calf. That's gonna leave a mark.
Yeah, this is her right here. Let's check this out.
Yeah,
Tech. Whenever I go to this screen, can you do this for me?
I muted your thing.
Okay.
That's her.
Yep.
Oh shit! He aimed right at her.
He straight up like a ship in Wildgate. He was completely aiming.
Oh my god!
For her exit hole.
That is some bullshit right there.
Some artillery to the turbine.
I mean, okay, so yeah, that's out of control. That's unacceptable. That's bullshit. Yeah, left control. See, this is the problem. I mean, what I would like to communicate, or what I would like to try to, again, either I would like to communicate this, or I would like to be educated out of this point of view that I have. I'm not sure which one it is, but like in the chat, left control says, "Well, fuck you." She was talking shit. Whatever. That's not it. But somebody said, yeah, left control says, "I think if you're raising the Mexican flag, you need to go back to Mexico." I don't really vibe with that. I think that's like saying if you're raising the Israeli flag or the Palestinian flag, it's like, what? So you can't support or protest American policies that affect other countries, especially given the economy is so improved by having a lot of migrant workers or illegal migrant workers here. I mean, it's a complex issue, and the fact that we don't do complex issues well. I don't know if it's the human race, or I don't know if it's just America, but we, you know, the idea that you're holding a flag in your first response, and it's not just left control. I've seen this all over the internet. Oh, you should fucking just go to Mexico if you fucking love Mexico then. And it's like, that's not the point, right? I mean, at least I don't think that's the point. I think the point is most people want legal immigration, but we also have to accept the fact that there's shades of gray where we also have built an economy, and big corporations have built economies on the backs of a lot of illegal shit when it comes to immigration. And in that, it's not that simple. And the other part is, I wish we could all recognize that, at least I think, unless I'm wrong, but I think what's correct to recognize is that we're being played against each other only because I'm not saying immigration isn't a problem that we need to find a solution to, but look how mad people get about this versus, okay, if you're going to, if you think your country is being fucked up because we don't have resources, then why don't you go, let's all get together and go after the corporations with the tax loopholes. Do you imagine how much money we would have to fix roads and infrastructures and emergency rooms and all kinds of things if we were actually able to tax our companies without these crazy loopholes that their lobbyists put in? But I don't know. I just, there's a point where we're either going to have civil war or we're all going to wake up and go, wait a minute, this is crazy. These guys are playing all of us. This is what I think. I don't know. I'll shut up. I'm going to get Pompish's chat. Then I want you guys to tell me about this, because I know we're a little bit different on some of this, at least me and Tech. Pompish, thank you for the super chat. Says
Pompish 2.0 has just donated $4.99 through super chat. Unfortunately, they need to go. Americans can't negotiate their wages when we're being undercut and devalued.
What wages are you talking about, Pompish? Are you really suggesting that Americans are going to be out in the fields picking strawberries? Because that's what they do here. Tech. That's so loud. You know, in Carlsbad, when I drive the kids up to Legoland back in the past, all the fields were filled with migrant workers or illegals picking the shit. You think, oh, thank God they're gone. Now, you know, my mom, who's, 45 years old, can now finally get that job, picking strawberries. I don't know. I'm shutting up now for at least 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Okay. 10 seconds. The point is, Scorpio and Tech, what do you think?
Sure. I think, I mean, from the comment before, if you're raising a Mexican flag in the United States, first of all, this is a melting pot. There's so many. It's one of the reasons why when you go to other countries, you see them raising one flag, and when you go here, you see them raising 100 flags, and it's all for supportive things. But it's kind of like a Jaffe. I'm not sure if you've seen Naruto, but there's a character called Gaara that has sand that moves around him, and it's kind of autonomous, and it does its own thing and defends him. It's kind of like Gaara's perfect defense. If you don't like what's happening, leave. I see that kind of touted when you have any kind of disenfranchisement with the government.
Yeah, that's stupid.
It's like it's the perfect defense, because you could say it for literally anything, and it goes absolutely nowhere. It goes nowhere. Yep. So if we want to actually solve problems, we have to be able to talk about these problems. And Pompish with, unfortunately, they need to go. Americans can't negotiate their wages when we're being undercut and devalued. Well, I believe in a meritocracy, and I think that the people in the United States are the hardest working people on the planet. We won wars because of it. I think, straight up.
I don't honestly know I don't know where you get that statement from. Americans are the hardest working people on the planet. I think that is, no offense, but that's a platitude. What does that even mean?
It's an efficacy level. It's a capacity level. I think when Americans have that stress level, there's something unique about this country and its people and its history, where we buckle down and we can produce more than everybody else can. We can grindstone the fuck out of it. I'm not saying on average other countries have to work harder to get more or less. I just think in times of trials and tribulations, the United States people, we're weird. We're just weird. We have a weird history, and we buckle down every single time.
I think that's any human being on the planet. When the shit gets real, you either show up or you run. I mean, that's America's.
Pompish 2.0 has just donated $4.99 through super chat. I'm based like a turkey on Thanksgiving.
Other
I should
countries
be able to afford a
fall,
home picking
and they
strawberries
go
American
roar,
first.
hang on.
and their systems aren't capitalist.
Okay, hang on. I'm based like a turkey on Thanksgiving, says Pompish. I should be able to afford a home picking strawberries Americans first. Well, again, somebody in the chat was like, "Oh, Jeffy, what, you think we're above picking strawberries?" Yeah, I don't think we're above it as human beings. I think Americans, when they are out there riding or not riding or whatever their take on this,
yeah.
You think they really want to return to factory jobs that we had in the 50s and 60s?
Can I speak to this, Jeffy?
Yeah.
This is what grinds my gears. Look, I think this whole idea that Trump has put out there about like we need to bring back the factory jobs to America. We need that's J or RFK's voice. Sorry, but you know
it's not RFK's voice.
We need more jobs for hardworking blue collar Americans. Shut up. Look. America has reached
Darth Vader's voice at the end of Jedi is what. Anyway, keep going.
We've reached the most advanced stage of an economy on the fucking planet. Okay, we should be the final stage of production for anything. We should have engineers doing like CPUs, doing CPU platters, right? We should have high quality processing for like construction equipment, like making titanium and shit here in the U.S. Make all the iron over there. Make all the fucking the agriculture over there. We want to offer Americans better paying jobs by getting them better educated and having them have better standing in the economy by becoming doctors and lawyers and all this.
But all of these things have to be built on the idea that the people in power are willing to take a loss in order to build that economy here. Like Bold Alpha says, Pompish, or let's make it illegal for the major corporations to keep American taxpayer money in an offshore account, getting interest instead of putting it back in the economy. Or Joker says America first is great. Tell that to stockholders and CEO as they hoard the money and ship your jobs away. So yeah, you're right, but that's what I'm saying. Look at what's happening. And this is not, apparently these protests are spreading, right? Part of it is just how thuggish it is on the part of ICE and just how the optics are so offensive. But a bigger part of it though is the Mexicans that are over here that are law-abiding folks that are illegal are not the enemy. If we really wanted to solve this, it's exactly like these guys were saying. It's like it starts at a corporation level, but Trump's never gonna force, or Biden was never gonna force these corporations to sort of take a cut. Not that they could necessarily, but because that's what this is. I mean, but this is just like blaming the Jews in Europe in the 30s. It's not the Jews' fault. It's not the Mexicans' fault.
Jeffy, I love you, but people are going to argue with what you're saying by saying, the illegals that are here lawfully, like, coming here illegally is already unlawful. Like, that's technically the argument that gets presented all the time.
No. That is not. Nobody disagrees with that. Of course, that is my point. Is yes, we should have only legal immigration in America, right? I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with especially let's deport the ones that are harming the economy. But when corporations build their profit on having illegals here, and more importantly, is this really the fight we should all be fighting? Because let's say you do get rid of a bunch of illegals. Most people's lives, I'm not saying there aren't pockets of the country, but most people's lives are fucking fine when it comes to that, versus the suffering we all go through when the corporations don't pay their fair share of taxes, when our cities can't use those federal taxes to improve our infrastructure and improve the prices that we pay public school teachers or that we have for police training. That's the shit that we should be angry about. But we're gonna direct that ire at just some fucking average folks who snuck across the border because they didn't want to die and then built a life here for 10 or 15 years where they did pay taxes, where they were contributing members of society. I'm not saying that should be okay, but you're getting lost in the weeds of, yes, that two things can be true. It sucks there's illegal immigration. We should work on that. But is that really the fight that's going to make a difference in most people's lives that are angry and out there? Or do you think they've been convinced that this is what they should do so they don't look at the real problem?
I think people are just fucking too entrenched into their political views based on like the appearance they have to uphold for like the party they want to represent.
you.
I think I saw a poll recently that was like, people who voted that they still highly support Trump, 80% of them think the government should have no say or like no power over providing clean drinking water for communities.
I understand, but you're not answering my question, which is, can't we all agree that, yeah, illegal immigration is a problem? We should get around to solving it in the same way that we need to get around to solving, a number of, on a tier. I know your generation likes to tier shit and rank shit. Okay, so let's put illegal immigration at a C tier, maybe a B tier. There are some pockets of America where it's a lot worse, but let's just say C or B. When we agree that corporations behaving unethically and getting away with it, and then us having to bail them out time and again with our tax dollars, and them not paying their fair share to make our economy better and our world infrastructure better, wouldn't that be, if not an A tier, an S tier?
I think this is kind of loaded with presuppositions. The B and C tier, I think there's a disconnect for when we're talking about like the priority hierarchy of where certain people believe illegal immigration should be. There's a lot of them. It's straight up S. It's right at the top. There's like 2 things that they only care about, that they've been just force fed that they should care about. Tons of them, even where I live. Wild. I mean, from a utilitarian perspective, I totally get what you're talking about, and it's very cut and dry, and it's numbers, and it gets us there. And but I think you're kind of weird, Jaffe. You might be a little weird, because people don't. Most people don't operate like that. Tech operates like that. I operate like that a lot of the time. You obviously operate like that, but a majority of people, they lead with their heart and not their head. And they go, this makes me feel icky. And also, nationalism is a hell of a drug. People.
But all of that's true. But what you're really talking about then is the ramifications of poor education and lack of critical thinking. There's nothing weird about me, you, or tech, or anybody listening to this conversation that gets it. It's just the fact that for whatever reason, we got fortunate enough to be educated in a way that lets us separate or disconnect a little bit of the emotion of the situation and look at it logically. I don't think that needs to be some kind of mutant X-Men power. That's just critical thinking.
But I mean, there's some things that are normative and some things that aren't. And we have to actually have the conversation of what is and isn't to decide how we bridge the gap to get people to believe what we want them to believe. Sorry, that sounds a little weird. But if you think you're right and you want other people to believe how you believe, you first have to adjust with the concept that maybe there's people out here and it's a more than you think that,
That what?
That have these belief systems where they have illegal immigration as an S tier because their favorite cult leader on a podcast told them that they should, that their grandma was watching Fox News, watching Bill O'Reilly. And
and again,
Bull
you're not
Alpha Wolf has just donated $9.99 through Super Chat. Thanks, pal. Here's fee game of 60% of the food processing is done by immigrants. When you walk into a supermarket to get a steak or chicken, it's prepared by immigrants. If you deport all these people, you starve. Well, again, some people are convinced that, we're going to go back to the way it was in the 50s, and I'll be out on my tractor, and we'll all be working the fields and the factory jobs with our steel lunchboxes and coming home to Martha at the end, and she will have all of our white Christian children around come on. But a bigger point, though, to all that, though, is that when you're saying these folks have been raised and they lead with their hearts, or they lead with what their cult leader tells them, if that's the real battle, then the question is, if you really want to solve this once and for all, then how do you is it some kind of subversive media literacy? Like, I don't care what you believe, as long as you can articulate it in a way where I'm like, okay, I don't emotionally agree with you, I don't even philosophically agree with you, but I see your logic. But I have a real hard time going, what's happening in LA is anything other than performative. If you're really like, we had a nanny that was illegal and she worked with us for like 10 years. And WebTech Simplified has just donated $4.99 through Super Chat. Also, robotics and AI can take a lot of those jobs now because it will be cheaper to build autonomous factories versus
non-autonomous factories, right? I know you guys can't hear. I don't think you guys
but
can hear.
by the way, yes, Scorp, that's a super chat coming in that Jaffe can hear, then we can't. Just so you're like,
But you'll see it in the chat
he's not having a stroke.
when it's colored.
I was about to say I had no idea.
Yeah.
I was about to start giving Jaffe aftercare.
Yeah. But yeah, robotics and AI is going to just make this worse. But the point on this though is that to educate people to the point where they start to question it, I don't know how you actually do that, because the system isn't set up to want people to do that. So maybe
correct.
I don't know.
Yeah, look, I agree with this idea that the tiered concerns.
By the way, one sec, Tech. Bold Alpha, thank you. Web Tech, thank you very much. And then we have somebody in the chat we'll bring in a second. But go ahead, Tech.
The tier of like importance for like these cases, right? These callings, right? These protests. The exit polling for the 2024 election showed that 56% of Americans believe that most undocumented immigrants should be offered a chance at legal status.
Yeah.
Right. It was only 40% that believed they were deported, and it was I think it was 4% that said they don't care. I don't care about the question at all.
But I could easily read that first part back. The first one, the 57% odd one.
56% of Americans believe that most undocumented immigrants in the U.S. should be offered a chance at legal status.
I could very easily see someone like my late grandma saying, "Yeah, we deport them, and they have a chance to file for things like asylum, like everybody else."
Yeah,
like,
there's that the answer to that question in the positive could mean 1,000 things, right?
Yeah.
It could, but no.
It's baffling if taken.
No, Scorpicus. Actually, you're dumb. All right. No, you're stupid because the other option there was deported. Okay. It's either offer the chance or deported. Not
right, but
deported and then offered the chance.
Yeah, but to his grandmother, it could be deported and
his
then
grandmother
because
was dumb.
Okay, but seriously, you could say. I could think deported means you get back in line at the asylum building at the border, and you could think it means you go back to El Salvador, right? There's too much gray in that.
People are stupid. The question,
that's different.
We're not arguing that.
Yeah, let's focus on this because honestly, I'm looking at these pictures, and this is, I think, what a lot of people in America have a problem with. Going back to this nanny that we had, sweet lady, she's got to be 65 now or whatever. You know, that's a representation of probably 95% of the illegals in California. Are there gang members? Sure. Are there drug dealers? Sure. We already have laws to get rid of them, and we should get rid of them in force. But you don't need this. And then on top of it, the Marines and the National Guard to deal with 95% of the problem if you want to go into places and say, hey, sorry about this. We know you've been here. It's the new policy. There's a way to do this in a humane way. This is intentionally being presented and dramatized and staged for us, so Trump can feel like the big boy dictator. I'm a badass that people want him to be, and that to me is very un-American, and it's cruel. It's disrespectful. It's terrifying to a lot of people, and he should be ashamed of himself. And even if you want every single illegal immigrant in the country out, you should be ashamed if you support the way this is being done, because it's not necessary, in my opinion.
So it sounds like for that 5% that might be gang members, you believe in pretty stringent ICE deportations, yeah?
Well, we already yes, but if you're a gang member and you've broken the law, or you're a sex trafficker, or you carry in meth, we already have plenty of laws to get your ass out of here. But sure, why not take them to Chinatown?
I may be misremembering.
Don't take them to Chinatown in LA.
I may be misremembering this, but last year during the election cycle, I think he talked about like the laws you voted for California, and one of them you said was the decriminalization of drug sales, like minor drug sales.
Minor drug sales, sure. You sell pot, who cares?
You sell pot, you sell a little meth, right? It's like less than $1,000 of product
Okay,
on
that
you.
girl's hot. I just want to say, I know we're talking.
We know what the camera's doing. The camera guy knew what he was doing.
Go back. I don't care about the riots.
This is what we're defending. You know what? I've now changed my perspective. I was a little against the riots, but you know what? We're defending Latinas.
I need to get down there. They need me.
After this one.
The Latinas need us.
They just shit that cafe coffee thing out of her vagina. What happened there?
I don't know. I wanted to bring up another statistics about the exit polling for the elections. Anyways, you voted decriminalize minor drug crimes. So anyways, the most important issues for Americans out of exit polling in order was the solidification of democracy. Number one.
What does that even mean? With the solidification of democracy?
As in democracy seems to have been failing. Like the idea of like us being a representation of the people's like will as a government has been failing recently.
Jaffe, this is what happens when you play too much Helldivers. This is what happens. You're just spreading democracy with everything you do 24/7.
All right, the second most important thing for Americans was the economy. 32%, so 34 for democracy. 32% of Americans were concerned about the U.S. economy.
Yeah.
Next, abortion. 14% of Americans out of exit polling said abortion is their third highest issue they fought with. Immigration, only 12%.
Okay, so your point is this is unnecessary and it's performative and it's bullshit.
It's super performative. The fact that Trump, it's CNN's fucking exit polling, but Trump's whole bullshit about like, I want there to be at least 1,400 deportations a day across the U.S. back in January, and that upping to I think 3,000 this month is fucking ridiculous. That is sending us out there going to fucking like people's places of work, with no like very concrete information.
But again,
there's enough.
Even if you are going to do it, there is a way to do it. There is a way to do it that is kind. There is a way to do it that is not humiliating and disrespectful to people that, yes, they may be here illegal, but they have paid into the economy. They are members of our communities, and there is a way to do it that isn't this. And this is the shit I hate about MAGA. I don't hate all conservatives. I don't hate all Republicans, but the MAGA shit, this high school bully shit,
I hate all MAGA.
Cannot fucking stand it. By the time you graduate high school, you should have grown out of this bullshit, of this stuff pushing your fucking buttons and being like, yeah, you fucking asshole, get the fuck out, man. It's like, you know what? You're a fucking moron. Let's bring in Anthony's, I think this is Pompish.
That's Pompish. I do want to say before Pompish gets started, MAGA is ruining my fucking country. Okay, I love America.
You know what? I'm going to be slightly contrarian here. I looked at the poll, and it had like 98% of the respondents for the poll believe that Harris would be better for education. I think this is just a CNN poll, and you have some selection bias going on here. Some of the results on this poll are
idiot.
wild.
This is analytics.
All right. Pompish, you're up. What's up?
There's a bunch of stuff that happened since. Can you hear me?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. There's a bunch of stuff you said, so I'm a little everywhere. Just hold on to whatever I say. We'll go to that topic. You said, do Americans really want to go back to factory jobs, right? You said that?
I did, at least.
I agree. I don't think they do. I think, yeah.
Well, so they don't. Okay, so Americans aren't the hardest workers, in my opinion, at this moment. I think they're the laziest. But I think it's because we got no incentive to do anything.
Stephen Hawkins has just donated $4.99 through Super Chat. This is all a dog and pony show. None of our military want to be there and shouldn't be.
Pompish, hang on.
Just Trump trying to own the libs and show.
Yeah.
Stephen Hawkins, I'll get to that Super Chat in a minute. We got to figure that out, Tech. We got to turn off text to speech when we're doing call-ins because it fucks everything up. All right, Pompish, Americans are the laziest, and that is because why?
There's no incentive anymore. You can't afford anything. You look at it this way. Boomers were the ones that worked the factory jobs that could have their wife stay at home, have 5 kids, an RV, a boat, take vacations all the time. You could afford it off a factory job. The problem is boomers. And what boomers want to do is they love illegal immigration. Why? It's because they can have them, you know, I'm not trying to sound stereotypical here, but the needs that these, you know, rich boomers have that have already lived their generations and wealth are benefiting from this. They need to pay up. We need to drain these boomers, and they need to start paying these millennials and Gen Zs decent wages to have these luxuries. So absolutely, you know, if I got to pick strawberries and there's no one else to pick strawberries, they're going to pay me a correct wage to go and do that. So when you have illegal immigration in there, they're
why would they?
what
Well,
we
wait a
should
minute.
be making.
Wait a second. Wait a second. So you're telling me that if you are the guy who owns the strawberry fields, and let's assume it's not a guy, let's assume it's a big fucking corporation. These corporations won't blink twice when it comes to firing people and replacing them with AI the second it becomes good enough.
Good.
Okay, fine. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying though is that the idea that, well, someone's got to pick the strawberries. I guess I'm going to pay them $15 an hour. No, they won't. They'll just stop making strawberries and make something else that they can import from some other country that's doing it, or they'll go out of business. Why would they do that?
I want you to know. Before we get into this,
They're already into it.
There are some strawberry workers that I think on average they make about $17 an hour, but there are some fields in California that offer $27 an hour on average.
Okay, but you understand we're not literally talking about strawberry fields. We're
No,
talking
but
about
what I'm saying is these people that are like, well, the immigrants are just doing like low pay labor. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're doing hard jobs that Americans won't want to do because they have better options for education to get into different like factors of the economy that isn't just manual labor.
But they won't with all the AI and shit coming and taking over.
AI is not going to pick my fucking strawberries. AI is not going to work my oil fields. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
fucking will.
a ton of undereducated white people go into fucking camp working at oil fields, and they do fucking fantastic. They make good money. Americans will do low skill labor. It's not like a bad thing. My claim to this is, I think what America should do, because Pompous is right. These fucking boomers had it luckily with their fucking economy. What the American government should do is give better access to education to promote people to get better paying jobs, because that's the economy we should be. We should be a first world economy doing these more difficult tasks that require education.
Until the robots come along, which we're already really there, who's going to pick the strawberries then if we all have these great high paying jobs?
India, Mexico, Africa, China.
You're going to import your strawberries from India and Mexico?
Yes, we should.
To beat Jaffe's argument there, Jaffe, if you say, oh, you know, they're going to go to AI or they're going to have bots do it, good. Even though I'm a Trump supporter, I also like Bernie a lot as well. Good. Let's have let's stop illegal immigration and let's push it all to AI, and then let's give everybody universal based income. So if we stop doing this now,
sure,
if we push it out, then let's get started on universal based income, because I'm watching a lot of my friends. Like I've sacrificed so much of my life to get ahead. I should be further than where I am. So let's get this universal based income started already.
I understand that, but it's not going to happen for a very long time. I agree with you, but what do you?
So that's why we need to do. That's why we need to do exactly.
But what do you think is more likely, though? Do you think it's more likely that we are going to devolve into a Ready Player One world where it is
evolve, Jaffe, not devolve?
It's
a
benefit.
Let me fucking finish. Let me finish. Okay. Basically, I think most people would agree that there's a utopia where AI does a lot of the shit work no one wants to do. That frees us up for leisure time and to do work that's really satisfying and that we believe in. And there's a universal based income and there's a social safety net to take care of people because of the way the economy has changed. And if we were in a Nordic country, I would say there's a good chance that might actually come to fruition sooner than later. When in our last 50 years has America done anything other than get behind what the corporate masters want, which is basically squeezing every fucking penny they can out of every other penny, and getting all kinds of bailouts when they fuck up or when they do immoral stuff? This idea that, we're going to suddenly become noble and good, our leaders are going to listen to that, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, but you force them. So if you look back at COVID
strawberries
times,
too big to fail? I'm confused.
Strawberries?
I want to stick with strawberries.
Look, I
want to let Pompous answer though.
Okay, then me.
Look back at. I touch grass. I'm out there. I guess I'm kind of blue collar. If you look back at like 2020 COVID times when people were not going to work and getting paid to stay home, right, which was based off a social system and all that in the first place, which allowed it to happen. This is why I'm
Drive
not
by
far
Joe
right,
has just
slightly
donated
right.
$5
One sec,
through
Popish,
Super
one
Chat.
sec, one sec, one
Thanks,
sec, one sec.
pal.
There's a TTS.
You don't like
sorry.
being broke now. Wait till universal income where you can't come
You
up.
gotta turn that off, Jeffy.
We'll get that in a second. Drive by Joe. Keep going, Popish.
If you look back at 2020 when nobody wanted to work, they were paying people significant. They're paying $20 an hour to work at McDonald's at the time. Now inflation went up, the dollar's not working, but at the time when it happened, they were paying out the ass because they didn't have anybody willing to work. Unfortunately, these people are going to get dehomed and their lives aren't going to be as good. But if you look at like the need of the workforce at the time in 2020, they paid up. They paid up to these people to go to these jobs because people were able to stay home and there was a lack of work there. So if illegal immigration stops happening and there's less people there, they're forced to pay up. None of those companies wanted to pay $20 an hour to flip burgers. And so
Right,
like,
but they
that's a
didn't.
good
But
example.
it's a good example if you have no other options. But now my Taco Bell is AI driven. A bunch of restaurants are starting to become robot flipping burgers. I mean, you're right in 2020, but are you right now?
Okay, so there's two things. Get rid of them, pay higher wages until you have to, and then force universal based income.
How are you going to force it? How are you going to force it?
You can't have that many people on the streets. You just can't.
Yeah,
Like,
but how are you going? Yeah, okay, but well, wait a minute though.
That's the left's job.
Well, I have the solution here.
Go ahead,
there is
Seth.
an easy solution here that no American wants to say publicly.
Okay.
America takes control of every other country on the planet, and then we don't have to spend for the military. We just own everything, and then we just make humanity better. All right.
Authoritarian text.
Just control all the violence on the planet, and then you can just start making the people's lives better.
But the point of this tech is to have an actual conversation. So,
well, you know that would be a solution.
And UBI is cheaper than that. I mean, imagine how much it would cost.
It would not be a solution. Russia literally cannot take over Ukraine.
But Russia was lying about its military figures for like generations.
America and Russia could not deal with Afghanistan. It has been shown time and time again. You go into someone else's country.
Yeah, we could.
Well, if you want to bomb it to hell and back.
Yeah, we were just being nice guys about it.
They should just all pour into our country. Like at the end of the day, unfortunately, some of us are born in better countries than others. But at the end of the day, if you're an illegal immigrant into our country, you are the other country's responsibility. They dropped the ball there. That is their problem.
Yeah,
I don't get where we take on everything for everybody else when people still buy homes.
TJM makes a valid point. I'm not trolling here with this idea. He says manifest destiny. I'm not sure why America stopped its manifest destiny at the Californian coast. All right, we should have went all the way to Japan, and then we should have went over to China, and then we should have went to India. And then we should have
destiny was Britain.
No, manifest destiny was when America came to, when England came to the U.S. and we had the colonies. We wanted to keep going further. We wanted to claim from coast to coast. It was like trying to get the entire Swiss cheese.
Okay, but you understand. I mean, we're not really having this conversation, are we? Because the world is too big and too varied to have this conversation. If in order to get the whole world to fall in line with what you're saying, you were talking about genocide at a massive level. And yes,
genocide by definition.
No, let me finish. You are talking about, forget by definition, you were talking about at best cultural genocide. But fundamentally, you are going to have to wipe out and murder so many people in order to get this, that the people who are in charge that achieve that, you really want them you really trust them at the end of it when all the bodies are buried or burned and it's just the people that agree with whoever's at the top. You're going to trust that group of people that did that to run a wonderful utopia, or are they going to end up becoming Darth Vader?
You'll never trust anyone though, Jaffe. Like from your perspective, you can never trust who's in power.
Democracy is the only thing that works.
Well, then make a super democracy, make a planet-wide humanity democracy. It doesn't have to be America, right? But America should start it because we are the best. But I'm saying it should be some type of system that we all agree, like, hey, no more violence.
Okay, so what do you? Okay, fine. So what do you do about the folks in the Middle East or even in America that feel that, or the whites in America the Christian nationalists that believe that, okay, let's start it. We're going to build it off the Bible. Nope, we're going to build it off the Quran and the word of Muhammad.
Now we're going to build it off capitalism, and they're going to have to concede the capitalist perspective.
Well, then you're going to have to kill a lot of people to do that.
It's a weird argument because every time America has ever got involved in any other country, we have left it worse than we came. We've never came into a country, thought we were doing the right thing, and like it's always left in a worse position. That's why I constantly think it's just like worry about your country first. Like it'll pour over. You know, I don't know.
I hear you, but the problem is though is that when you say worry about your country first and you look at these protests, that's what every single person on these streets thinks they're doing. The problem is not your philosophy. The problem is everybody has been sold by the masters in charge that want to manipulate and take your money and take your vote, a different idea as to what it means to worry about your country first. So your version of that is probably different than my version, is probably different than Tech's, but we can all stand behind the platitude of worry about your country first, which is great, but it's meaningless because until you actually lay out the plan of what that looks like, you're just shouting bumper stickers. All right, Pompous, we appreciate it, buddy. Thank you for the call. There he goes. Let me get these super chats. Steve Hawkins says, this is all dog and pony show. None of our military want to be there and shouldn't be. This is just Trump trying to own the libs and show off. I mean, it feels that way to me as a progressive. What I can tell you is I saw a video yesterday of there was this guy, I don't know if you guys saw this, standing in front of a bunch of the cops and just yelling at them and just going, this isn't right. You know, this isn't right. You know, I wonder if, you know, we've seen this before. I wonder if any of these cops ever have heard this and just go, you know what? Good point. I'm out. This is terrible. This doesn't feel right to me. I've never seen a cop do that. Have you guys ever seen? I have. What have they done? What was this?
What they say, I'm using all my vacation time. Fuck it. I'm not going to be here for this. One of the biggest things happening right now on TikTok, Marine Corps officers or like Marine Corps enlisted that are going to be sent out to these protests. Some of them have made anonymous accounts being like, yes, I'm assigned to this fucking counter protest thing or anti-protest thing. And I don't want to do it. I'm being paid $30,000 a year to what? Go fight other Americans voicing their opinions and having the freedom of speech to be like, I'm against this. What the fuck did I sign up for? Like now being in the military and going against what is essentially like a lawful order is going to fuck you over and you're going to get essentially arrested. You're going to get court-martialed. It's a risk, and I don't know if I approve them doing so. There was
a PFEW poll in 2024 that talked about the reasons as to why cops would leave the job, and 74% of them they resigned because of low morale, job dissatisfactions. Their efforts didn't lead to meaningful outcomes. Just nothing they were doing were mattering. They were over policing, and nothing was changing. Job satisfaction super important, and yeah, this affects riot gear, and this affects
WebTech Simplified has just donated $9.99 through Super Chat. Thanks, pal. Florida reduced the working age to 13 in some cases so they can use children to pick strawberries since a lot of
let me read that tech. Can you look that up? Is that true? He says, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He says, Florida reduced the working age to 13 in some cases so they can use kids to pick strawberries since a lot of the strawberry farm workers are affected by immigration changes. Is this a true fact?
I'll look it up, but I do know that agricultural laws are way different than like normal working laws. Like the whole idea behind why factory farming can be so cruel as it is without it being reported on is you no longer have the you can't film farms essentially. Like there's a weird law about agriculture that America has. That's why we
look at animals. That's terrible. Look it up if you would please. Drive by Joe says you don't like being broke now. Thank you for the super chat. He says wait till universal income where you can't come up, meaning you can't make more money other than the base. I don't think that would be the case. I think you should be able to. But anyway, that's a totally different conversation.
According to Florida law, no person 13 years of age or younger shall be employed, permitted, or suffered to work in any gainful occupation any time. However, there are exceptions for farm work, which is exempt unless performed in hazardous occupations, where the minimum age in which they can engage in that work is 13, and can only be 14 hours a week.
When was this passed? Because somebody in the chat is saying HB 1225 and SB 918. Is this recent or has this been on the books for years?
2024.
Decades? Okay, so I mean, again, guys, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, that is disgusting. That is disgusting. Having the Marines come in is disgusting. Let me ask you. I know I should have asked Pompish because he did say he voted for Trump. How? I mean, is this what you voted for? Is this what you want America to be? That you can get rid of? I mean, wouldn't you rather have a president that's like, okay, look, let's just assume you agree with the president that illegal immigration, not the violent kind, but just these nannies and these cooks and whatever they're doing, we need to get them out of our country. Fine. Let's just assume you agree with that. Do you really think is this what you want? This is how you want it to be done? Or do you want it to be done in a way that is respectful and that is American? And do you want, because the companies need to make more money because the immigration's going away, do you really fucking want 13-year-old kids picking fucking strawberries out in the fucking heat and doing this? I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the kid working a hard job, but 13 seems a little goofy. I know you're not forcing 13-year-olds, but they're going to do that. They're going to do that because they're going to want money and need money. And I don't know. This just seems like, if you support, again, let me put my screen up, Tech. Can you deal with the muting stuff?
Yeah.
But I mean, if you support what you are seeing on your screen, I don't know what to tell you. This cannot be the America that you signed up for, that you voted for, unless it is. Unless it fucking is. I don't understand it, man. I think this is disgusting.
Yeah.
Jackie, go ahead.
This idea that like the corporate overlords are the ones that are promoting like doing the deportations, that's not even true.
I didn't say the corporate overlords are supporting doing deportation.
No, so some people would say like it's all about capitalist America wanted to, like people that want to make Americans get these like jobs that the Mexicans or whoever is taking from the country. Do you know what the EPI is, Jeffy?
I do not know what that is. No.
The EPI is the Economic Policy Institute. Right, it's just like economists that they do surveys, they do studies. In 2025, earlier this year, they say that for the United States as a whole, immigrants share a total output of 18%. Yeah, in 2023, 18% of the economic output of the country was from immigrants working in the U.S. Right, our ability to trade and the stuff that we produce, right. 18% of it, to almost 20%, comes from immigrants. Okay. Imagine if you're, it's not a one-to-one, but everyone in the chat, if your paycheck was 20% less, if the economic power of the U.S. economy was down 20%, that would affect you by having a 20% less paycheck. Your spending power would be 20% less. Is that really like something we want to risk? Like, I understand like getting people that do crimes, right? Like,
we're all saying, we're all agreeing. We've said that.
Yeah,
we all agree.
But it's like when you pull someone over in these border zones that now you can check for like legal immigration status, and it's like, okay, you've been here for 20 years. There's a paper trail of you having like paid an electric bill and doing this. Yeah. There's no criminal record for 20 years, and it's like, we're excited to deport you today. Why? What is the claim there?
Well, because then they'll say, but it's wrong. And my answer to that, to these Americans that say that, is like, yeah, but you want to go after that guy, but you're okay. I mean, seriously. And maybe this is, people on the left or not the left, people like me get upset about this, but maybe it's just a lack of knowledge. And I don't mean lack of intelligence, just a lack of data.
Yeah.
Where it's like, look at the fucking bankers. None of them went to jail for what they did in 2008. The amount of money and heartache and families broken apart and homes lost that occurred because of the banking crisis and all of the bullshit, bullshit mortgages the banks were giving out. No one went to jail and they got bailed out. So it's like, you know what? Yeah, Mr. America, you are absolutely right. The guy that got pulled over by the police, is here illegally. He's been here for 20 years. He's paid into the system, this, that, and the other. He's a hardworking member. The community loves him. But yeah, he is here illegally, so we should do something, I guess. But you know what? Where are these same people when it comes to the corporate welfare? They are nowhere. So this is performative horseshit, because this is down at the bottom of problems we have that are affecting most people, most Americans' day-to-day lives. Maybe they just don't know it. You think that's what it is? They just don't know about it, and so this is what they're told to fight against, because you can paint these guys as cartoon villains.
I think it's crazy we're going after the Hispanics in LA, but we're not going after the people on the Diddy list or the Epstein file.
Right.
Epstein file. Yeah.
We are so fucking bamboozled by these motherfuckers. I'm not going to get into it with you about Obama. Obama did great things and bad things. Most presidents do great things and bad things. This is not a left-right issue. It just fucking simply isn't. You have to break out of that. I don't care if your guy won. I don't care if your guy lost. I don't care if you wanted Jill Stein. I don't care if you wanted Bernie. I don't care if you voted for Trump. This is not about your team. It's a ridiculous thing that is fucking up this country, and we should be smarter. We should be smarter.
I do think there are some topics that we blow out of proportion that a lot of people. I mean, I know, for instance, for me, I should probably care a lot more about cybersecurity than I actually care about.
Simplified has just donated $4.99 through Super Chat. Florida also signed a law that prevents cities and counties from creating protections for workers who are in labor jobs against the heat.
Okay, I'll get to that in a second, WebTech. Sorry, Scorpio, keep going.
Oh, you're good. I should care much more about cybersecurity and the ability for other countries to be able to infiltrate our structures and shut things off without me knowing, right? That shit could do insane damage. Wouldn't be able to calculate a lot of it. And it's so far out of my control, out of the depth, because I don't know what I don't know. And for me to kind of know what I don't know, I don't think I'll ever know what I'm supposed to know.
Right.
When it comes to that stuff. So even if I was like extremely educated, this was a field that I was studied in, there's thresholds which and this might be a little conspiratorial of me, but I think at some point, if the government doesn't want you to know something, you're just not going to know it. That, or they are just inefficacious completely. And it's either one or the other. And at least to me, you guys might disagree. So I just kind of live heuristically. And I
don't know what that word means. Heuristic.
Rule of thumbs. Good rule of thumb. If I probably am not going to be able to understand the thing, there's no point to try to understand it.
Okay, but in that point, you should at least, and I'm not saying you are or not, I don't know, but if you haven't tried to understand it, oh, there she is again. Is this the same footage? There she is again.
Good cameraman.
Oh my God, look at her. Look at that. There's no bra. There's no bra. Oh my God. Come on. Oh yeah, it's the same footage because this lady's gonna she's gonna shit out a drink now from her vagina. Watch this.
At least we get to watch it.
This is a very serious show, you guys. Very important show we're doing here. Watch this. She's gonna shit out a fucking. I thought it came out from between. Okay. God damn it! Now I'm disappointed.
I thought she was. Sorry.
But yeah, but at that point, then you should say, okay, well, I'm not voting. I'm not having an opinion. I'm not going on Twitter and spreading any bile one way or another because I haven't bothered to look into it. And in that, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Right.
There's a threshold for each topic, right? You can have
that's what I mean.
Philosophical thresholds for things like abortion, and then have like utility thresholds for things like how much you can know about cybersecurity. And of course, then there's things that each individual has to decide for themselves what they give a fuck about, where their OT system is, and there's corollaries for some people, and you can see these polls, 74% of people like this, 52% of people like that. I just think we should be able to like talk about and fix what we can actually talk about and fix.
All right. Well, let's move on. Let's get this last thing from WebTech. Thank you for all the super chats and support today. All you guys, certainly WebTech, the last couple. Thank you, buddy. He says, Florida also signed a law preventing cities and counties from creating protections for workers who are in labor jobs against the heat in 2024. Yeah, I mean, it's disgusting. It is gross. It is disgusting. And maybe, well, you're not saying anything ravenous with National Guards and Marines because this is footage here. Let me see if I can show you that.
While you're looking that up, it says here, Florida law now bans local governments from requiring heat protection for outdoor workers. So the state.
All right, well, there's your Marines right there, buddy. Keep going, Tech.
Yeah, so the state of Florida said that there is now no requirement for local governments like cities and municipalities to enforce some type of heat protection law for outdoor workers. They said, fuck it. That's up to you guys. We're not going to enforce it anymore.
Well, for what I can tell, it's as long as it doesn't go beyond the already listed federal statutes for these protections,
Which are low.
which might be low, but some do.
No, I know they're low because Las Vegas, Nevada gets to last summer we got 123-degree heat, right? My girlfriend, your friend, pushing shopping carts outside. What's the weather today? It's like fucking.
I used to do it in Houston. I remember.
Yeah, 104-degree weather, no fucking humidity. It's just dry as fuck. Your lips are chapping and shit. There's no shade because there's no fucking trees out here. And she's pushing carts. Las Vegas has implemented its own heat advisory, laws and safety for workers that work outside that are better than the government's. Because government's, I think, is like no more than 4 hours at a time.
Yeah, we don't care about anything but money. We know it's horrible. It's horrible. But here, what do you think about this, Tech? There's your picture. Marines on the streets of America. And this isn't the National Guard, I don't believe. I could be wrong. I can't tell the difference.
That's the National Guard.
How can you tell the difference between the National Guard and
it's their uniform?
Okay. So National Guards we have had. Rarely. We had them in LA for the actual riots. I was there. And it was necessary because, it was the difference between 92 was I was driving downtown and cars were getting their windows shot out around me. Every street you went on, buildings were being burned and looted. That is not happening here today. So this seems to be not necessary at all. And it does tie into the whole fucking thing coming up this weekend, this fucking parade. I mean, seriously, what are you guys who vote? I mean, are you guys, I don't understand it. Who voted for this guy?
You really hate performative acts, Jaffe. You really
when my tax dollars, I mean, yeah, I do. First off, because
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying it's something I'm observing.
It's bullshit. And when you stand up there and wave the flag and talk about how you're the guy who's going to bring truth, and we see what happens in our uneducated country when people believe this horseshit, performative bullshit is dangerous. That's A. B, when it's costing, depending on who you ask, $40 to $100 million to put on this bullshit parade that makes us look like a goddamn banana republic. It's embarrassing that we elected someone like that. And ask yourself what $90 million could do for a city. Just one city. You're not going to change the world with 90 million, let alone $1 trillion. But it's better than polishing this prick's ego. I don't understand. I don't understand it. He definitely deployed 700 Marines, says Eternal, on top of 2K National Guard against the governor and mayor's will. Well, again, if the mayor and governor in Los Angeles are as corrupt and shitty as Trump tells you, then it would make sense. It was necessary in 92. But look at what's happening in LA. It's not a war zone. It's a couple of isolated incidents the LAPD has been able to take care of.
Do you think it's possible that there's just more enforcement preventing that? They're just being more fastidious and
maybe, but that's still what the LAPD is doing, right? The LAPD these guys showed up on day 4. Day 1 through 3, there were pockets of problems, but it was mostly peaceful. You call in the fucking military when it becomes you see this. Jonathan says, okay, Jaffe, so we should just let the rioters destroy LA and taxpayers just pay to rebuild.
That's such a straw man. Where's your line, Jaffe?
Well, Jonathan, where in the world have I said that? Where in the fucking world have I said that? But this is the problem, Jonathan, and I'm serious. I'm talking directly to you because you made that comment. I'm not upset with you that you made the comment, but I'm curious. This is the level of discourse that we have to put up with? I never said that. What did I just say, Jonathan? In 92, when the LAPD, because of the Rodney King verdict, could not stop entire blocks of downtown, and it was starting to encroach from downtown into the west side, which is where the rich people were, from being burned and looted and attacked. It was necessary. But you have no evidence that is anywhere close to what's happening in LA. I think there's been under 100 arrests in LA so far in the last 3 or 4 days.
And I haven't seen any rooftop Koreans. I think that's the line. But I'd like to know, Jappy, where your line is. When
line
do you
for
think
what?
When the military should be called in?
I think if the local police force of that area is incapable of doing their job and Americans are in harm's way, that's when. But there has historically been, because that's a subjective line, there has historically been, it has to be, imminent or not even imminent. It has to be, we're in dire straits here and we need help. We have just been flooded by Katrina or the wildfires or the LA 92 riots. Then it makes sense. You start doing it here, where does it stop? Oh, I don't like the protest against Trump running for a third term, even though it's not constitutional. Send out the military. Where does it stop? How are we okay with it?
So Jaffe's perfect world. Go ahead and say that you could make sure slippery slope didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
You were the arbiter of when it gets to be thrown in there.
Well, I would have AI do it, but yeah, keep going.
I like it. Where's when you're talking about that the cops are unable to do their jobs, what's really that line? Is it that there someone ran off and
I think it's amount of murder or damage. If you're starting to see buildings and blocks go up in ash, if you're starting to see gang members or some group of people running into movie theaters in every city, shooting people in the head and killing, then it becomes an issue.
Well, let me get you those numbers right now, Jaffe, because they're important.
They are.
I thought they should step up the amount of resistance to the protesters as soon as I saw the stones being thrown off the freeway overpass onto police cars.
Absolutely.
I was like, okay, now you're threatening people's lives. All right, that's fucking crazy. So far, protesters, this data is up to date as of yesterday morning. So it's not today, but yesterday morning, at least 3 injured for the protesters.
Yep.
At least 72 arrested.
Okay.
For federal employees or troops, at least 1 injury to the California National Guard.
Okay. What's your point?
But for the Californian Law Enforcement Department, I'm so sad to say this number, 5 horses have been injured so far, at least. 5 horses.
So the point is,
who's hitting the horses? Why fucking hit the horses? And then also 5 cops. But the horses, my guy.
But the point is, this is nothing. This is nothing, and this should be very concerning. If you are a real American, what kind of American are you? If you're a real fucking American and you genuinely care about the Constitution and you care about the ideals of America, at least that have been preached to us, whether they're real or not, or horseshit, is TBD, depends who you ask and when you ask them. This should be a bridge too far. But with MAGA, it's never a bridge too far. With MAGA, it's basically the football team in high school, and they could do no wrong, and they were the brothers in blue, and it didn't really matter. It was all performative, because this is unacceptable. And Trump's poll numbers are in the toilet; they're worse than they've ever been. I don't know what's going to happen to the guy. I'm glad to see some of the Republicans pushing back, but these fucking cowards in both parties are just absolutely. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. So I'm opposed, I guess is what I would say. Should we move on to another topic, or are we good?
Let's move on to another topic.
What
but
about
I do want to say
parade? Oh, go ahead, Tech. You get you and Scorpio get the last word. Go.
The 1989 Super Bowl had more injuries than the protesters had so far, and they did not send the Marines to the Super Bowl. So
okay.
There you go.
Occupy Wall Street had more deaths and injuries in roughly in the same period of time. I mean, their total arrests were pretty insane, over 7,000 arrests. But yeah, it's not that big of a deal yet.
The waiting in line for the Phantom Menace to open had more.
World of Warcraft Burning Crusade release.
I mean,
had more.
Most Best Buys on Black Friday. Yeah,
this is not North Korea. This is America. This is Donald Trump's ego. This is your guy. Yeah. This is your guy. Shame on you fucks. Not that you voted for him, but that you still support him. I mean, you should have known, but this is your guy. Well, what's the matter with it? It's tens of millions, almost $100 million. It's not needed. Apparently, we need the military in LA because it's a fucking, it's World War II there. I don't understand. I don't understand unless it is just education. I'm sorry to fucking say, but the Democrats are just as dumb in a lot of ways and just as losery as the Republicans are. But if this is okay to you, you're just dumb. Or I'm dumb because you can't articulate it well enough for my brain to get.
It just seems kind of. I'm a little uncomfortable with the rhetoric where they're going to have M1 Abrams and Paladin howitzers just rolling down the streets of this thing. I don't think it sends the right message. I don't like it. Like, look at this. This looks right now. If you just kind of
North Korea.
If you tinted it a little bit different, it looks like we're getting footage from a drone in North Korea or something. Like,
yes. And people who are like, no, it's to celebrate the military's 200th. No, it's not. Wow, the military's 250th just happened to land on Trump's birthday. That's so weird. Maybe God wanted it to happen. That's so weird. And frankly, there are so many other things that we could have celebrated if we loved America and if we loved our military. You want to celebrate the military? How about guaranteeing that the military, if you serve for 10 years, you never have to pay federal taxes?
How about not gutting the VA?
Right. Yeah, let's celebrate that. But seriously, I mean, give me a break. Give me a fucking break. I mean, who would not? Look, we would probably have to suffer a little bit over here if all the people who serve in the military, when they get out after a number of years, never had to pay taxes. But I'd vote for that.
Yeah.
I'd take less home if it meant that the people who are willing to risk their lives don't have to pay taxes. Why don't we do that? Why don't we do that? No, we're not doing that. Of course, we're not doing that. Why would we do that? Fucking
I don't know. Eternal CMO saying tech is a tool, making excuses for this. What?
I don't think tech supporting.
I don't agree with that at all.
I don't know.
Tech, are you supporting this parade bullshit?
Oh yeah, I like the parade.
Oh my god, tech.
No, we should do parade. I like having a strong military, and I think that
I like having a strong military too.
Our current recruitment numbers are down so far that we should celebrate it a little bit more.
Okay, so make a new fucking Top Gun. Make a new goddamn Top Gun if you want to up the up people signing up. Was there ever any question that we don't have the strongest military in the world? That before I was afraid.
Yes, actually,
we've seen the parade. Everything's great.
If you didn't know, the right wing, like 2 years ago, were all about how the U.S. could never engage in a military operation against Russia. Russia actually has the strongest military. There were so many like Trump supporters that were so scared of Russia propaganda.
Okay, then take a great camera crew, take fucking Michael Bay, take them into all the armories of the American gear, and fucking make a documentary about you and blanket it on primetime television, 7 to 9 o'clock, and shut the fuck up about it.
Hold on. Matt DeMarco. Hold on. Matt DeMarco out here saying spending trillions on failed wars and not having health care. Fucking thing moved. Losers. I don't know what country you're from, but whatever country you're from, you're rich. Come here to get surgeries, all right, bitch. If they're in need of life-saving operations, they come to my healthcare workers. Okay.
I'm not entirely. I'm not sure that's accurate. I know.
Yes. They come to the U.S. for like very important like heart surgeries or brain surgeries. It's the U.S. they come to. If it's hair loss shit, they go to Turkey.
But what I'm saying though is yes, there are we do have the best doctors, the best blah blah blah, but the vast majority of procedures are not that. Okay, so if what you're saying is to get that, which is 5% of the time, that's what someone needs, or that's what we need as a group, but the other 95% causes people like there was a great comic book writer who wrote things that have influenced culture in the MCU. A guy named Peter David just died. He literally could not afford to pay for his medicine, and he's dead now. Not for any other reason. He would have been alive. He couldn't pay for the medicine. Okay. So that is the story of healthcare for most people, or a lot of people in America, more than the 5% of some guy from Indonesia who comes here for some really weird, rare, you need to be the good doctor on ABC's hit show, The Good Doctor, in order to pull off that surgery. Sure, that happens, and we should celebrate that, and we should promote that and pay for that. But that shouldn't be the fucking norm. Matt DeMarco also says, my girlfriend had a life-saving stem cell operation and it cost her nothing. Yeah, but she's made of plastic and she's inflatable, Matt DeMarco. And so obviously it's cheaper. No, I don't know where you live, but that's true. Great. That's great. Bold Alpha says, yeah, that's just blind patriotic propaganda that we're still the strongest. Whether we are or not, we don't need to spend this money to show it. I mean, it's just dumb, and you know it's dumb, and we should all be ashamed that it doesn't mean we shouldn't be ashamed. People, what about Obama did this? Yeah, there's things he did and Biden did that we should be ashamed of. There's things Bill Clinton did and Kennedy did that we should be ashamed of. Okay, but this is the president now. This is the guy you voted for. This is the guy who won. Okay, so can we keep our eye on the ball at this point and go, this is the guy we're talking about? And you should be ashamed that this is happening in America this weekend. While at the same time, across the country, we have Marines coming to the streets and National Guard coming to the streets for no reason other than a fucking show of force. This is probably the only way Donald Trump can come. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe his sexual dysfunction is he has got to see a show of military might that he feels he's in control of, or he can't have a goddamn orgasm. That's the only thing I can figure. It's the only thing I can figure. Okay, I'll shut up. You guys go.
I like seeing the big tanks. I like it. I think it. I think
hear this nationalistic rhetoric.
It's not even about it being nationalistic.
Authoritarian.
Yeah, you wish, buddy. Look, all I'm saying is, there has been such a divide in the American social political system for the past couple decades. That having some type of can we agree that we love our veterans? Can we agree that our military is doing a good job for us?
That is not what
it could be. It could be.
You're not even listening. What did I just say? You wanna love our fucking veterans? Make them stop paying taxes. Don't gut the VA. Doesn't that do it better than this bullshit?
And they gutted the shit out of it.
Because it's about appearance.
End of the day, the percentage of people being moved out of the way so they don't look bad in the cameras, probably half of those homeless people are veterans. Okay, so don't fucking come at me like this is a show of support for the military. That is horseshit, and you fucking know it.
So
I love our military.
It's just completely Trump's ego, this entire...
No.
Okay.
Somebody asked earlier, Jaffe, what do you think about the guy who got shot, the CEO? You know, I don't support or condone murder, but to paraphrase Samuel Jackson in A Time to Kill, I'm glad he's dead, and I hope he rots in hell.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah, to quote Taylor Swift.
Wait, are you saying wait, Scorp, are you glad that the CEO dead, or are you glad that Louis gonna die?
I would not be glad that anybody's going to die. But I get it. I understand it. If you participate in some kind of system that hurts people, that is greedy, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. It's understandable. I don't even have to.
Should he have been murdered? No. Did he probably deserve to die?
Maybe.
Yeah, he probably.
Look, I was very against it when it happened live. I was like, that's not a way you get your fucking political message out, is by committing acts of assassination.
Exactly the way you get it's the only way you get.
Did you enjoy the fact that rhetoric spewed the shooting of 2 Israeli nationals outside of an embassy recently?
Oh, what, you really think that the guy who was capable of taking someone's life for political assassination wasn't going to do it until he saw, Geppetto take the guy's? Come on.
No, but everything is influenced by other things, right? Well, we all are falling down the line of dominoes falling.
We're talking about how big
what I'm saying, if that guy's manifesto comes out, if that guy's manifesto comes out and says because of Luigi Mangione or whatever his name is, I did this, right? Would you be just as proud of enacting this type of violence towards getting a political gain?
I'm not proud that the guy got shot and died. I'm disgusted that is what here's the difference. Most Americans look at it and they say, of course it sucks this guy was murdered. Okay. But this is where we're at. They caused this. This is the bed they laid in. If your mother dies, if your wife, your girlfriend, your child dies for no reason other than some fucking AI and then some corporate stooge said denied, just so these motherfuckers and their stockholders can have an extra couple of fucking pennies in the quarter, then you know what? Do I want someone to be murdered? No. Of course I don't, but fuck you.
And also,
because end of the day, I would kill for my kids. I would kill for my loved ones, and most people would. And if they wouldn't, they should. And
I hear you there. My point I was going to make is that when it originally happened, I was like, that's not a way to get your fucking political message out there. That's not going to do anything. And then recently I saw what their stock prices went down to, and I was like, I guess, you know what? Hey, it was kind of effective.
Yeah, that is why the propaganda is don't be violent, don't do this, don't do that, because they know it's the only thing that works, right? Money works and violence works. I hate it. We all hate it. We should all hate it. But until it stops working, when you put people in a corner and you threaten their lives and the lives of their loved ones, what do you think they're going to do? I'm done. I'm done pretending.
But also, like when we're talking about the 2 Israelis that died outside of the embassy, right? I mean, the shooter was screaming, supposedly screaming "Free Palestine." So it'd be kind of if you happen to be right, and I read this and it was like, and he's like, yeah, you know, I did it because of the sea. I'd be like,
Luigi motivated me.
I guess I just call you on the phone and be like, oh, I guess you're right. But also, if they were like, yeah, the Britney Spears's memoir was like Memoirs of Me after she shaved her head in 2007 or whatever. Like, oh, I did it because she was facing scrutiny.
Such a good book.
I would be like,
so good.
And then I would also call you on the phone. Like, and it would have the same levels because they're like, they have the same levels of ordinance to each other.
Let's do a little inside baseball, Jaffe. What's the water temperature like with Scorpius? I know you keep calling him Scorpio, but
Scorpio's a better fucking name.
No, it's not.
Scorpio's like a fucking cop played by Al Pacino in the movie Scorpio. Scorpius is like, it's too much work. It's a new word.
Scorpagus.
I think maybe that's why you like Scorpio so much, is because you didn't know the full name. It has context to it. It means something.
Yeah, but I don't care about that.
What does it mean, Scorpius?
One of the first characters I made growing up, EverQuest 2. It was a Ixar, which is a scorpion type character. It was a wizard. A synonym for wizard is Magus, Scorpion, Magus, Scorpagus.
Just because you have a story to go along with it doesn't mean it's a good name. I could
try to sell the name, Jaffe. Why are you shitting on my name?
Jaffe's name is the same though, Scorp. Don't let him fucking shit on you. His mom and his dad came together and they were like, "We're gonna make a kid."
I
didn't David and my last name Jaffe.
I did not demand the name Jaffe though. And for people started calling me Jaffe. The only thing I ever said to people is, I don't really like Dave, but you can call me David or you can call me Jaffe, and people called me Jaffe. And I'm cool with it. But I wasn't like, no, I'm going to hold you to Jaffe. I don't care what you call me as long as it's like respectful and not a dick.
Jaffe's a cooler name.
It is a cooler name. Yeah. So there we go. Crazed Assassin is right. Scorpanagus, whatever the fuck it is, sounds like a medical condition. Scorpio. Scorpio sounds like a badass assassin. We got to call in Scorpio.
They make him rebrand all his social medias.
I'm gonna get the fucking astrology bitches. I can't.
What's wrong with that?
I can't do it, man.
Wow, it must be nice to have so many fucking choices.
Are you really a Scorpio? I don't have a choice with what happens to me, by the way. But are you a Scorpio? Oh my God, you're such a Scorpio. It's everywhere.
And he's a Taurus.
Like if I put down Scorpion, everyone would be like, it's a cliched, played out. Scorpagus, there's not many Scorpaguses out there.
Okay, well, okay.
You hate my name.
I don't
do you have a Brian in the chat says, does he have a Scorpagussy?
Fuck you.
And no one said that. I made that up.
Yeah, while we're talking, here's Mind's Eye gameplay from Reforged Gaming. So keep an eye on it. Let's see how it is. I love it thematically. I'm super excited for this game thematically, but I do understand that apparently it's not good, but I don't know. I loved Fast and the Furious Crossroads. That was one of my favorite games of that year. And I think it's sitting at like a 5 on user review score. So maybe I'll love this.
Is the demo or is this like...
This is the game. Came out today.
I'm anti this gun animation.
I'm anti the tires not getting blown out as soon as they get 7.62, or is that 5.56? What is that?
That's probably 5.56.
5.56, yeah.
But I don't like the overdone. I mean, whatever.
Well,
if it's thematic for the game.
Yeah.
I think
it's also set in the future. It's a little bit in the future, so it's like maybe 30 years in the future.
This loser died, guys. How does he have 333 gifted members and we only have one today? Come on, chat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, this guy. I mean, well, we're not talking about video games first off, but again, I don't want to get into it with you guys. But I don't understand it, and allow me to at least express my idiocy. I made with a team some of the best fucking video games on the planet. And this guy, who I got nothing against, I've been on the show, nice guy. This guy is currently sitting at 1,000 concurrent. How? Why? Is his insight into the industry, is his insight into games so much better?
It's his hairline.
He probably knows somebody named Scorpio.
Dreamcast guy's analysis. He puts out a video. It does 30K in a day. Why? Nothing wrong with the guy. He's got a cringe thumbnails and I'm just fascinated by why. If I go to my deathbed and I've never become a really successful streamer, which is fine. I don't want that, but it's fine. But I'll go, it'll still be a mystery to me. It'll still be a fucking mystery to me. That who gets to be successful on this platform. And this is why I'm telling you, the Jews do not control the media because I was raised Jewish, and Satanists don't control the media because I would become Satanist in a heartbeat. If all I had to do was drink baby's blood and I could have a hit show, holy shit. I'd be down at the goddamn new birth ward tonight with a straw and a cup of noodles. I don't know why I need the cup of noodles. I just like them. Shut up. Nothing wrong with them. There's a lot of sodium. But anyway, yeah, there you go. He is stinky, but people like his smell because it reminds them of high school pizza. Okay. Okay. Some people get lucky, says Relinquishing. Yeah, but you can be lucky for a little bit, but to sustain it, that's not luck. He's doing something right.
It's his hairline.
Oh, shut the fuck up, whore.
He looks like Vegeta from Dragon Ball.
Okay. Anyway, all right. What are we talking about next? Let's move on. We got 10 minutes.
Why that gun has no recoil and why it has infinite ammo?
Well, again, you guys, does everything have to be?
Here's Jaffe calling me picky again.
It's not that. It's not that you're picky, but if you're playing Arma or you're playing maybe even Call of Duty, I get it. But that's like going to see again, like a Michael Bay action film or Transformers and complaining about. Well, wait a minute. Did I just see that fucking M16? There's no magazine that fires that many bullets. I count it. That was 20 more.
You know what?
I was doing that right now. He should have only 29 shots in that gun, and he's shooting like 70.
I don't support
20 years in the future.
I don't support Transformers either. So
that's fair.
I'm consistent. Ever since Linkin Park changed the trajectory of their music because they released New Divide for Transformers. Anyway.
All right, it's fair. All right. Well, what else? What we got 10 more minutes before we got to wrap it up, and we got to start prepping for.
Can we talk about that fucking demo we played?
WILDGATE.
WILDGATE.
I talked about it earlier, but I want to get your takes on that because we played WILDGATE last night. I am still thinking about it. Like I may want to come back to it. It's a $30 fucking video game.
Do the IGN one. The IGN's gonna be better produced than whatever the fuck this guy is.
I'm not gonna listen to it. I'm just gonna.
I know, but just it'll look better. Fuck Stalosa. Get out of here. IGN. Thank you, IGN, for having good
I have
cuts.
tons of things I'd like to pick your guys' brain about this.
All right,
game.
well let's talk about it. Go ahead.
Go Swerve.
I'm noticing this trend where a lot of the games that are coming out have very similar graphics. And it seems Overwatch really went above and beyond. And it's artwork. It's like the specific artwork, and nothing's really sharp. Everything's kind of fuzzy, but very Sea of Thieves. If you've played Sea of Thieves, before.
It's less expensive to make semi-cartoony stuff.
Yeah. But it seems like a lot of the games saw the success of something like Overwatch, and they're kind of duplicating
or Fortnite. Yeah, that's been going on for a long time, though. Part of it's cost to create.
Battleborn, Apex Legends,
right.
TF2.
Part of it, well, I'd say Apex Legends is a little bit more on the high end.
Yeah.
But as was Battleborn, but a lot of it is the cost. Another part of it is the E for everyone T rating that you can get, right?
Yeah.
It's not that it looks like Pixar, but it kind of looks like Pixar, and it's not so kiddie that adults would be super turned off if the game is good, but it's not so offensive and real that parents wouldn't let their 12-year-olds play it, right? Or 10-year-olds play it. So I get it, and it works and it sells, but it's ubiquitous at this point. But you know, I think for me on this, what I'm interested in is it really feels like one of those games that if you get a crew together and you really get good at it, it could be a huge amount of fucking fun.
Yeah.
And I want to play it again. I'll probably play it again tonight after our show, after Madhouse. If anybody wants to download it and maybe play Tech, if you're around, you want to play it again.
Yeah.
If you guys want to play with us, that would be great. And I'm not sold on it yet, but unlike a lot of other games like this that I haven't come back to, I actually kind of think I want to come back to this, and I haven't analyzed why yet. Yeah, you rate well. Bold Alpha says, "Is this the one where you raid the spaceships for power cores?" You can raid spaceships for any and everything. You can get power cores, you can get guns, you can get tractor beams to put on your ship. And you're mining stuff, and you're ultimately building towards the appearance of an artifact. And it's basically one capture the flag, and it's 4 teams of 5. And once
5 teams of 4, I think.
5 teams of 4, yeah. And once the artifact pops, everybody's trying to get it and put it through the gate. But ideally by then you've already destroyed at least 1 or 2 of the other ships, so there's fewer people to go after it. So there's kind of like a mining prep phase. Then there's a battle phase, and then there's the artifact appears phase. And it's cool. It's good. It's good. But I don't know. Is it $30 good? I don't know. I don't know.
This is $49.99 good.
Okay.
I feel like I've played too many games that kind of do this thing, but with slightly better graphics. This might be more polished. This might have I look like I'd enjoy it, you know? But
I play the fuck out of this with you.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of the space missions in Battlefront. These are railjack missions from Warframe. I mean, these are just railjack missions.
Yeah, they are. It is essentially railjack missions. Yeah, you're not wrong. It's railjack with like a semi-base building aspect. Jeffy, you never played Warframe, right?
I played a little. I didn't like it.
Yeah, me and Scorp got through the entire game. Scorp multiple times.
At the time, yeah.
Yeah, I never. I mean, the game's still going, but I know what you mean.
And beautiful game. And I can see some aspects here that are a teensy bit different. Like Warframe should have done other things as well, but it was still fantastic.
But now there's another game like this, Tech, you were telling me about that's on Steam Next Fest right now that you were reading it going, oh, that sounds a lot like this, but it's PvE.
Yeah, so I can find the name of the game. It's still on Steam's fucking like trending charts for their Next Fest. That's why Steam's broken. Please, Steam.
Smaug guy brought you in. I don't know if you want to say anything before we wrap up, but you're on the show if you want to talk. What's up, buddy?
What's going on? Hey, Jeffy. Hey, Scorpio. Hey, Tech. What's up?
Hello.
Sorry, Scorpagus. I'll get it right this time. Scorpagus.
There we go. What a guy.
Scorpio. Jeffy got me. But yeah, just talking a bit about Mind's Eye that I know you're excited about, Jeffy.
I am.
Do you see that as a similar situation to Callisto Protocol that came out a couple of years ago, where it was like these industry veterans that were doing this big project and it didn't turn out as everyone thought it would and didn't reap the rewards everyone thought was going to come from it?
I mean, I haven't played it yet, so I can't really speak to it.
It's more like.
By the way, one second, I'll say this though real quick. You're asking in the chat about the game running this badly. No, whenever I stream video on Talk Studio, even though I'm streaming like Tech, I'm on Chrome now, or I'm not on Chrome. I'm on a different browser for the Talk Studio. They don't do a very good job on this running video. So no, it runs buttery smooth. It's pretty good. But no, to answer your question, I mean, I haven't played Mind's Eye, so I don't know. I know that a lot of people like Leslie Benz, who I guess is the creative guy on it. A lot of people will take credit for things on games, and it's, from the guy who did this, I don't really know how talented that guy is. He might be incredibly talented. I always thought that the success of, if you're going to lay the success of Grand Theft Auto at people's feet, you're probably going to want to put the Hauser brothers before you put Leslie Benz.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, but
I just mean from an
think though
perspective.
what I'm optically, I get the sense that at least with Protocol, there was still a sense of, okay, it's cool, it's got some great moments, but it's ultimately underwhelming compared to like the Dead Space remake.
I just want to be clear that I love Callisto Protocol. I know a lot of people didn't, but I enjoyed it.
But I haven't heard people talking about Mind's Eye at that degree. I've heard people talking about Mind's Eye more like Fast and the Furious Crossroads. Which I love too, by the way. Yeah. I loved Fast and Furious Crossroads. But most people think of that game as dog shit. And so,
or The Wheelman with Vin Diesel, another classic.
But at least, and honestly, since there's no review copies and it's just coming out and people are starting to play it, I don't, it's never a good sign, but we also don't know if this is like a total embarrassment or if it's just like a 69, 71 on Metacritic. And they just wanted to hold that close. I have no fucking clue. I don't think any of us know just yet. Morgan says, Morgan put up a first impressions of the new Ninja Gaiden 4. Cool. I will look at that. So, all right. You guys wrap. You guys get the last words. That for me though, let me just say, Madhouse tonight, 6:30. Me, Tech, and Bunny. 6:30. That's right. And we'll be back tomorrow with this show, whatever we end up calling it. I don't know if you guys like the fact that we went all over the map with topics, or we should stick to politics or whatever, but this show's back tomorrow morning, 9:30, 10. I'll let you know. And I'll be around. Maybe I'll stream some Mind's Eye today. I'll let you know. Scorpio and Tech, what's going on?
Real quick, TJM, if that's true, theaters are selling an $80 bucket to piss in, so you don't miss any of the Fantastic Four movie. I am there. I am there. If I can piss publicly, like sanctioned, I'm down. Anyways.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, it's a very short list. Anyways, I appreciate everybody. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for supporting the show. We appreciate the super chats. Also, let us know. Let us know in the Discord how you felt about the show. Reach out to us on the Madhouse channel or the general chat on the Discord. That's discord.gg/Jaffe Games. I love you guys.
Thanks, Smog. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
All right, Scorpio, what's up?
Then there was two. No, I was going to ask about Mind's Eye. Apparently, there was some controversy with getting the beta on console, that you had to do some kind of shipping it in to make sure that the console was up to spec for, because they were only supposed to be doing this for people that were going to be streaming the game. And a conversation that we could definitely have maybe next time or tomorrow, whenever you would like to for the next show, is at what point did betas kind of become this marketing tool for streamers? And devs are just, or the marketing team are just kind of using these streamers and giving them privileges, and how unfair that is.
Well, I think the term beta it means two different things now, right? Or three different things, right? If you're actually a developer, beta means it's all done except the bugs, right? If you are putting out a closed beta or early alpha or whatever, and you really are trying to do a network test or to get a sense of gameplay, but your game isn't coming out for a year or 8 months, that feels still more like a real beta focus test, play test. Then there's what they call a beta, which isn't really a beta. You might as well just call it a demo. And that's what you're talking about.
There's a fourth beta too. And that is games that are being released on Steam. They can release it like a year in advance with a fairly just college game. And it's a disclaimer, so people have difficulty refunding the game once they've already bought it. They'll release a full game, call it a beta, and it'll be in beta for 6 or 7 years as a fully polished game.
Yeah, but I mean, they call it early access though, right? Which I think is fine. That's how we got a great Baldur's Gate 3. It came out in early access. It was in early access for 1 to 3 years. And then it came out. True. Game of the year. So that's, I mean, people, look, you can only demand so much before something's got to give, right? You either want everything polished, bug-free, epic, big, ambitious, innovative, But if you ask for that, it's like the classic triangle. You either want it fast, expensive, or quality. You got to get rid of one of them.
Darkest Dungeon has like a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
There's some games that have been like a 7 Days to Die, I think, is like early access for 10 years. At what point do we just fucking throw our hands up and say, enough's enough, back to performative things, or maybe disclaimer things, or anything to defend like litigious actions? Why not just say the game's done?
You want to talk about litigious actions? Star Citizen, that fucking game.
Another star, and that keeps, and especially with resets too. People are afraid to get in the game because of just resets. Like,
I just think I've tried to play it once. It was way too complicated to go what the fuck I'm doing. Eternal says, why wouldn't we want bug free? We would. I'm not saying, I'm just saying that if you ask for ambition, and if you ask for high production value, and if you ask for scope, something has to, and if you ask for it now, something's got to give. This stuff takes time. And so, but yeah, of course. Ricky says, have you seen the student protest? It's like 1989 in China. Let me, where?
Are you talking about Tiananmen Square?
Well, but it's happening right now though. Student protest, ICE, maybe? What would I look up? Anti-ICE national. Yeah, where would I look that up? Which one are you talking about, Ricky? I mean, I'm seeing a lot of these protests, but which ones are student protests?
Los Angeles.
Well, I know, but which is it? USC, UCLA, Irvine?
I think it's UCLA.
Okay. I'm not seeing it yet.
I would definitely play WildGate with you.
We should play WildGate. The demo's free.
I would do that.
Yeah, but Ricky, then if you can tell us where you're seeing it, I'd love to put it up on the screen real quick. But I don't know what you're talking about.
Tech, how do you feel about games that are using games like Overwatch, like Marvel Rivals, generally BR, stuff like that, that all keep using sprays? And they're like, hey, you can buy bundles that have things like sprays. And it's just an emote, basically, if anyone's on.
I like it.
Spray is. You can just hit the wall with some kind of icon that no one really gives a fuck about. I mean, Tech's wrong, obviously, here. But
I like it.
Sprays.
Yeah, I'm a fan of sprays.
It's a cheap thing to give away to give you something to unlock. I mean, as a guy who's made games where we've had to have, well, I know, but
Modern Warfare 3's Warzone.
I mean, again, it is a nightmare. Like, okay, Ricky's going to pull up the article. Cool. It is a nightmare to come up with things to give away that make players satisfied, that serve as North Stars to keep playing, that don't break the gameplay, that still feels satisfying to unlock. And so I think sprays aren't great. I don't get excited when I get a spray, but
when was the last time, Jaffe, that you used a spray?
Never. I use it at the beginning of Marvel Rivals when I get one, just to spray it on the wall and go, okay, that's what the Punisher spray looks like. But I mean, I don't.
In Warframe, or not Warframe, in Warzone on Modern Warfare 3 when that came out, right? There were sprays of like guys you could paint on the wall that looked like a character, like a player. And you could set up traps in houses by spraying a little person in the corner of the room. So when they bust in,
there's some utility. Okay.
They see the person. They're like, I'm going to shoot the spray, not knowing it's not a player. And they're not getting hit markers. So they're focused on, it must be missing. Then you fucking shoot the guy. I thought it was super fun. Or making like a little heart like room. It's like a little shack filled with heart sprays all over the inside of the room. And they come like, what the fuck is this?
I blame CS Source. I blame them for sprays. Sorry, not sorry. All started with them.
When we had Drawn to Death, it was free to play at first before we ripped all that out. And I loved this. What we had was you could swipe up, down, left, right on the touchpad. And depending on where you swiped, a GIF would come out like a cartoon word balloon, but you could upload whatever GIFs you wanted to use. And what we were selling were not individual GIFs. We were selling, why doesn't this thing stop fucking with the screen?
He's tossing me around the room.
what we were selling were just the number of gift slots. So if you bought a gift slot for $199, you could put whatever the fuck gift you wanted in there to express yourself. And I thought that would be cool, but then we ended up kind of getting rid of the whole thing. Jaffe, why do people need carrots to chase a carrot? Why people can't just play for the fun of the mechanics? Because they can't anymore. Because I get what you're saying. I buy Uno. Uno is one of the best games I own. And we play Uno maybe once a month, sometimes more if we get into a headspace of loving Uno. And then it sits in a drawer for 3 months or 3 weeks or whatever. Sometimes a board game will play a lot for 3 weeks and we never touch it again. But video games cost a lot more to make, and video games, there's a lot more money in keeping people in your ecosystem. So, and it is satisfying. Frankly, one of the reasons people stick around for one more match is because they want to grind that shit and unlock that shit. But I agree, the most pure game should be so good that the pure game mechanics is what keeps you there. But and even you could argue Go or chess. A lot of people say those are the best design games of all time, whatever. You still don't, most people don't play chess, even if they love it every single fucking day. But a lot of people will play Marvel Rivals every single fucking day. I'll play Marvel Snap every single fucking day. A, because I love it, and B, because I want to get to the point where when a new card drops, I have enough tokens or whatever to get the new card without spending real money. So that's what I would say.
I'd say back to the small snippet from the previous conversation about sprays, replace every single spray with just something that says increased inventory slots. I'd be much happier with that.
Yeah, but then you're fucking up gameplay though. Then you're basically paying for power, or if I play longer.
Only if this isn't a system that's already implemented in the game, right? If it's something like a RuneScape, right? That would really fuck RuneScape completely up. You have a finite amount of spaces. You have to spend.
It would fuck up Call of Duty though, right? If
there's for some games, but games that have already implemented systems where you can even buy inventory spaces, it's the equivalent of basically replacing sprays with in-game currency. But why do people need to chase the carrot? Some people have different systems. Some people have different temperaments and wants for playing games. Some people are goal-oriented. I'm very goal-oriented. There's the thing there, and then I go to the next thing, and then I go to the next thing, and I get stronger so I can do the next thing. And that's where I get my enjoyment out of it. But not everyone plays games for the same reason.
Yeah. But I do think you're right. Fundamentally, the best game in the world would be evergreen, and you wouldn't need artificial systems. It would just be so fucking fun that you don't want to stop playing it. But that's a wonderful thing to aspire to, in the same way that it would be wonderful to cure cancer, and we're working on it. Not me, but the doctors. But it doesn't mean in the meantime they avoid other, health issues, just because that's the big one.
I have a question for you then. Do you think the perfect game is like reading a book, and it is the best book to have ever been read, and once you have read it, you have this revelatory experience that changes your life? Or do you think it's something that has replayability so you can play it?
I think it's absolutely both. That's why when people ask me what my favorite game of all time is, I can't really answer that, because, for example, between Hearthstone, but right now it's Marvel Snap, there's no better game for me that I like to play ever than if I just want a warm blanket of a video game while I'm having lunch and I just want to lose myself and I don't want to think too much, but Marvel Snap does that. But if I want something that is more of an experience, then certainly Marvel Snap is not that. But I don't know, Ghost of Tsushima might be, or I can't, you know what I'm saying? Games like that.
I mean, it's next to an impossible question with all the games that we've played.
Right. So games serve, or what's your favorite book? Well, nonfiction or fiction? And is it there's so many reasons you read. There's so many reasons you game. Yeah. That I think it really depends what you're in it for at that time. So, all right. Well, there we go. That's the show. We're running a little bit over, but thank you guys for sticking it out and hanging out with us. We will be back tonight at 6:30 on this very channel with Madhouse, with me, Tech, and Bunny. And otherwise, we'll see you guys tomorrow here at the same time. Be safe, be well, and bye, you guys. How do I end this goddamn cockadoodie motherfucking thing?
He's gonna weekly reset and snap, by the way.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah. All right. And we're out.